Coming up, he's a second-time offender, but a state lawmaker cruises through court after his drunk driving arrest. The update next on Fox News at 10.
Coming up, more new information about the latest state lawmaker arrested and convicted of drunk driving. We check out the police report and talk to prosecutors about whether there was any special treatment. Also tonight, serious charges from the mother of a murdered baby. A shooting victim speaks out, and we show you what your new driver's license will look like. All next in the Capital Region's first Fox News at 10.
And now, the Capital Region's first Fox News at 10.
How did this man, a state lawmaker, get off so easy for getting caught and convicted of drunk driving for a second time? Good evening, I'm Kristen Stinar in for Alison Seymour.
And I'm Greg Floyd. First on Fox tonight, did State Assemblyman Richard Anderson get special treatment? The latest state lawmaker busted for getting behind the wheel drunk has a history here in Albany. Richard Anderson, who used to be a member of the Juvenile Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Task Force, has done it before and gets caught both times right around the corner from the police station. Tonight, Fox News at 10's Stephanie Gorin looks at the police report and goes after some answers from prosecutors about the way Anderson cruised through the system.
Assemblyman Richard Anderson won't be in the office this week. He's gone home to Buffalo, he says, to get alcohol counseling. Cops charged Anderson with drunk driving just after midnight Tuesday. He was in his state car at the time. 9 hours later, he pleaded guilty to a reduced charge, driving while ability impaired. The district attorney admits that's a fast turnaround, but says it's not unheard of.
There's no cover-up, believe me.
The DA says plea bargaining a DWI is standard practice, especially when no one gets hurt. That's just what happened last month with Rochester lawmaker Susan John. To get that deal, the driver must also have a clean record dating back 5 years. Assemblyman Anderson has that, but just barely. 6 years ago, he did the same thing. Arrested May of '91 and convicted the next day on lesser charges. The last time cops busted Anderson for drinking and driving, it was right here in Albany County. In practically the same spot, cops picked him up this time. The DA says Anderson's job didn't change the way the case was handled. The police report shows Anderson's blood alcohol content crossed out. Also crossed out the section about prior arrests. All standard operating procedure, according to cops.
No special treatment. It's done to many people who are not members of the Assembly.
Doris Aiken of RID, Remove Intoxicated Drivers, says Greenberg needs to change his policy and stop letting drunk drivers plead down.
He has to make a tougher policy, and I look to him to do that.
Greenberg says with the volume of DWIs he sees, this is the best way to get them through the courts. Meantime, Anderson gave his state car back, lost his license, paid a fine, and will go to drunk drivers school again. He says he knows he's caused a lot of pain to his family and people in his district, and he's sorry. The voters will decide whether to accept that apology in November of '98. In Albany, Stephanie Gorin, Fox News at 10.
The mother of a Troy child killed late last month lashes out tonight, saying she holds the child's babysitter responsible for the death. Yesterday, 4-month-old Austin Lashway's death was ruled a homicide. His mother says she's been suspicious since day one. Fox News at 10's David Wade has our update.
Blunt force to the head. Prosecutors say that's what killed little Austin Lashway. But that's where the answers end for the 4-month-old's mom, Jean Lashway. While her 2 other children were there when Austin was injured, she wasn't. Still very emotional, today Lashway could only gather enough strength to talk from behind a door.
I want to know what happened to the baby. I don't even know yet.
Officials say they aren't telling Lashway a lot simply because they don't know what led up to little Austin's death. They say they've tried talking to the babysitter on that day, Sherry Fitzgerald, but they say she won't answer any questions.
Fitzgerald is Austin's aunt and lives just above the Lashways. She called police back on March 25th to say the child was having trouble breathing. Austin died later that day, and the autopsy shows he died of massive head trauma. Jean Lashway admits her 2 kids and a 3rd child were in the apartment at the time, but she says her suspicions begin and end with Fitzgerald.
I don't know if she did it, but she was supposed to be watching him, so technically she is responsible. She obviously wasn't doing her job.
And what do you want to see done?
Justice.
We tried talking to Fitzgerald today, but had no luck. Meanwhile, acting Rensselaer County DA Kenneth Bruno says even if the babysitter is not responsible and that one of the other children is, Fitzgerald could still face serious charges.
The baby was in her care, and the baby, at some point there was a call to 911 while the baby was in her care. That's about all we can talk about at this point.
But you wouldn't say that she's the center of this investigation?
I can't really comment on that.
Because Fitzgerald won't talk and the kids are so young, officials may never know who is responsible for taking the life of this innocent child. In Troy, David Wade, Fox News at 10.
A car crash has claimed the life of a former Fort Edward town supervisor. Police say 72-year-old Lauren Sullivan was driving on River Street in Hudson Falls when he ran into a garbage truck that had stopped to make a turn. Sullivan's car then careened into another car. No one else was seriously hurt.
An Albany man is sent to the hospital after being sent flying off his motorcycle this afternoon. Police say Richard Malatesta was apparently speeding on his Honda motorcycle when he lost control on the off-ramp between 787 and I-90. Malatesta hit a guardrail and was thrown sideways. Police ticketed him for driving an uninspected vehicle and for failing to negotiate a turn. Malatesta suffered only minor injuries.
A volunteer firefighter and his EMT wife lose their home to an accidental fire, but they blame an arsonist. This house on Main Street in Postenkill was destroyed after an unattended pot caught fire. It started after EMT Ronnie Rupert ran out to respond to a small brush fire and left her stove on. Firefighters couldn't get to the Rupert home in time to save it because they were already at that brush fire, a fire started by an arsonist.
Whether they would have saved it by the time it was noticed or not, I don't know. The point of it is that if we weren't running on those kind of calls, you know, somebody would have been home.
And the fire might not have started in the first place?
Started in the first place.
No one has been arrested for starting that brush fire.
Police think they know who fired the bullets in a deadly shooting at a Schenectady bar on Friday. Investigators say it's just a matter of time before they catch the guy who started shooting at a crowd gathered outside the Real Samuels bar. 23-year-old Crystal Jackson was shot in the neck and later died from her injuries. 2 others were grazed by bullets. We spoke with one of the victims this afternoon.
Just why he would do something like that, knowing that there was a crowd of people there, that someone was bound to get hurt.
Witnesses say 2 brawls broke out at the bar that night. One ended up out on the sidewalk, but it's not known if the shooting was related to either of those fights.
Well, goodbye sun, hello cold and clouds and rain and snow. Meteorologist Noah Francis here now with the Fox First Forecast. Noah.
Thanks, Greg. Today was the last nice day we'll see in a few days. We do have some cool and unsettled weather coming our way. In fact, yes, even a little snow possible on Friday. Well, we do have some showers out there working their way from west to east across western New York, western Pennsylvania. Much of what you're seeing now over the Capital District is not actually reaching the ground. You have to go back towards Rochester to see any shower activity, but we'll be moving in for the overnight hours. We'll see a low temperature down to 42. And then for tomorrow, more showers. They should be on the light side, though. High temperature tomorrow of 50. It looks like enough cold air will work into the region to change the rain showers over to snow showers on Friday. Details on that coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Noah. The Hudson River is moving up on the list of the nation's most threatened rivers. A survey released today by a group called America Rivers lists the Hudson as the 2nd most endangered river in the U.S., up 3 spots from last year. Environmentalists are calling on Governor Pataki to make a Hudson cleanup a top priority. And they say General Electric has not done enough to rid the river of the PCBs it dumped there. GE denies that charge.
On to national news, the secret's out of the bag tonight. 2 tobacco giants are talking about a giant settlement with attorneys general from states all over the U.S. The deal would settle lawsuits against Philip Morris and RJR Nabisco. The tobacco companies would pay in the neighborhood of $300 billion to cover the cost of treating smoking-related illnesses. The companies would agree to keep people out of their ads, stop targeting minors, and give up most billboards. In return, they'd fork over the cash. be protected from future lawsuits, and have the right to control what's put into cigarettes. The settlement is far from final.
Tightened security tonight at the Colorado Springs complex that is home to two top defense agencies. Those two agencies are NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, and the U.S. Space Command. Officials say threats have been made and there is a security concern. Barricades have gone up and public tours have been canceled.
Christian demonstrators go head-to-head with Marilyn Manson fans at a concert in Florida. Protesters consider the rock group anti-Christian and pro-violence. The demonstrations resulted in at least 2 arrests and a bomb threat.
Coming up on Fox News at 10, he has spent his entire life on the run.
But don't worry, that's a good thing for this 75-year-old Albany man. The brand new New York State driver's licenses are about to come out, and we've got a sneak preview.
There's a lot more to this new license than the new look. They're designed to prevent tampering by underage drinkers looking to change their birth date. John James has the story.
It's not the same old driver's license anymore. These are the new ones, hot off the presses of the DMV. They hit the streets next month.
As you renew by mail, if your expiration date of your current license is May 18th of '97 or later, you will get the new document.
Most of us will have them within 5 years. Why?
At least 10% of the people use fake IDs around here. I mean, most everybody's underage that goes to school.
The driver's license is the accepted form of identification across the country. Officials realize tampering is widespread right here at home.
The old licenses like we have right now are simply printed onto this plain white paper. The new ones, well, a new background, engraved background they're printed onto, and it's got very fine detailing called microtext. You may not be able to see it there, but here's a little bit bigger license right here, and you can see fine detailing. No forgery possible with this.
We took the new license to an expert for his opinion. He tends bar across the street from the State University.
There can't be no excuse if somebody's underage now. I mean, it says it right there, under 21, surrounded by red around the person's picture.
And what about students at Albany? Many are underage, many get into local bars.
I think it would be difficult to cover it up, to cover up the under 21 on the side of it, because of all the colors behind it.
The print in the back is like a picture, and you're not able to like fix it, because it'll look chalked. It'll look tampered with.
So do you think this is going to cut down on underage drinking around here?
I think it will.
That is what the state is banking on. In Albany, John James, Fox News at 10.
4 Burn Hills High School students admit to breaking into their school in a plot to keep it closed after winter break. Each student was sentenced to 5 years probation, 20 hours of community service, and they must repay the school for damages. State police caught the students as they broke into the school on New Year's Day. Cops say they were trying to disable electrical systems. They have all been kicked out of school.
In world news tonight, Israeli police want to see Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu indicted. Israeli television is reporting police recommend Netanyahu be charged with breach of trust and fraud. Police have been investigating allegations that senior government officials plotted to name a political ally as Israel's attorney general. Prosecutors will announce on Monday if they will seek to indict the prime minister.
2 million Muslims scaled Mount Arafat in Saudi Arabia today. Waves of white robe pilgrims made the journey to in prayer. The march is the climax of their annual pilgrimage. Yesterday, more than 300 pilgrims were killed when fire ripped through their tent city. There are still hundreds more missing or in critical condition.
12 people died in an arson fire at a Portuguese disco last night. The blaze was started by 3 hooded men who burst into the club. They ordered everyone onto the floor, spread gasoline around, and set it on fire. Local news reports say it was an attack by one gang on another.
Ahead on Fox News at 10, take a pill, burn some fat. Sound too good to be true?
Then it's not just good, it's the greatest show on earth.
Fox weather Brought to you by your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealers. And now, Fox Weather with Noah Francis.
Well, you may have heard talk of a big storm on Friday. Well, the good news is it looks like the precipitation will be on the light side over the next couple of days. The bad news, it's still going to be cloudy and showery and pretty cool over the next couple of days, right through Saturday morning. We'll take a look at current conditions right now. The clouds have rolled in, still relatively mild out there, 58 degrees for a temp with south winds at 8 miles per hour. Well, yesterday we showed you some video out of Washington Park and out of Lincoln Park. Today we're going to take you on down to the plaza where it was just another beautiful day. Temperatures across the region getting up into the 60s. I noticed some of these people walking around were looking up at the sky. I don't quite know what they were looking at up there. Maybe it was the sunshine today. I thought we'd actually see a little bit more in the way of cloud cover when I did my forecast last night, but we ended up seeing quite a bit of sunshine out there, and it was good news. Even a little entertainment down there. You got your fire-breathing people down there. Fire-breathing people. Don't try that at home, folks. That's my warning for you tonight. Temperatures at 4 o'clock looked like this. The high today in Albany was 64, 60s across the region. We have cooled off. Interior New England now cooled off into the 40s. Right now, 51 in Glens Falls, 58 in Albany, and we'll see those temperatures cool off a little bit more tonight, but with the clouds, don't look for them to drop off too drastically as they have the last couple nights. Here's a trough of low pressure swinging through the Great Lakes. You can see the well-defined comma-shaped cloud associated with the storm system has been pushing the clouds across the region. Most of these high clouds, but the clouds are a little bit thicker off to our west, and there is some shower activity actually to our west. Most of this actually not reaching the ground. The atmosphere is relatively dry over eastern New York into New England, so what you're seeing right here is falling in the form of virga. That's precipitation that's not reaching the ground, but you have to go back towards Rochester, down towards Pittsburgh. That's where they are seeing some light shower activity, and we will see that here a little bit later on during the overnight hours. That precipitation forming ahead of a frontal system which will push through by tomorrow afternoon, be located to our east. Now the precipitation on the backside of this will be very, very light, so look for some light showers pretty much all day long tomorrow. It may be cool enough well to the northwest to produce some snow. Lows tonight over the 40s, generally in the 40s. You have to go up towards Lake George to see temperatures drop off in the 30s. Highs tomorrow, we'll call it right around the 50-degree mark. Now as we head into Friday, that's when things get a little more interesting. This storm system down here is going to intensify a little bit and move northeast off the coast, and that is going to enhance the precipitation over the region, but it looks like enough cold air will be moving in behind the system to change the rain over to some snow showers about midday Friday, but it looks like snow accumulations will be on the light side, maybe a couple inches over the hills on Friday. Otherwise, accumulations generally right around a half an inch or so. The forecast then, for tonight, we will see those showers moving in from the west, low temperature down to 42 with south winds. Tomorrow, scattered light rain showers all day long. High tomorrow getting up to 50. We'll see our wind switch around to the north. That's going to bring in some cooler air. It looks like by around midday Friday again, those light rain showers will be changing over to light snow showers. Accumulations on the light side. It looks like we'll warm up for the weekend, so any snow that does fall will be quickly melting. And that does it from the Fox Weather Center tonight. We'll take it back to the news desk with Kristen.
Thanks, Noah. In health news tonight, several drug companies say they are close to a pill that can take the fat right out of your body. Fox's Cynthia Santana explains.
New hope for the millions of Americans struggling with obesity in the form of a pill that could be like having a gym in a bottle.
What these medications do is they increase the rate of contraction of the muscle. And in effect, it is like exercising.
Only without the sweat. Researchers say tests on animals show up to a 30% increase in the metabolism. A 10% increase is equal to shedding a half a pound a week.
It's not an outlandish proposition. There's no reason why something that works the way this medication works shouldn't work in humans.
Beatrice Fitzpatrick has been fighting with her weight for 5 years and says it's taken quite an effort to keep it off.
That would be a godsend for people like me who don't really enjoy exercising and are naturally kind of sedentary.
But the miracle pill is still years away, and doctors caution more research needs to be done.
Exhale, ease it down.
It's not known if the pill will have the same health benefits of exercising, and researchers fear one side effect might be the feeling of your muscles shaking.
This pill will definitely not be a cure-all.
And if that's what you're looking for, you'd better take another look at your gym. Cynthia Santana, Fox News.
People in the news tonight, a new ringmaster at the greatest show on earth.
Circus, welcome for Alison Seymour.
Our very own Alison Seymour kicked things off as the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus gets underway at the Pepsi Arena tonight. A real hands-on night under the big top. Spectators allowed to come early and actually take part in some of the warm-up routines. The circus runs through the weekend.
Next on Fox News at 10, meet the Albany man who's almost as old as the Boston Marathon he'll be running in on Monday.
And then the other end of the spectrum, you're never too young to start thinking of a career in medicine.